Jackson on the drive, kicks it out for man. Man, three-pointer, bang! Oh, what a man!
Magic down the middle, just what I thought. A hook shot at 12, good!
Here's Michael at the foul line, a shot on Elo, good!
The Bulls win! They win it!
Now there's a steal by Bird, underneath the DJ, going up over Bell, ball away, yes! Yes! At the buzzer, he does it! Was there ever a doubt? A Smith screen, Posey will defend.
Oh! LeBron James with no regard for human life!
It's a physical game.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to a live on a Tuesday. I did talk about when I was saying my summer plans that I would be doing these occasional lives on Tuesdays to talk about the latest in the NBA and free agency and whatnot. And there's a good amount of stuff to talk about today, so I have it all laid out in my notes. But I'm also going to be taking questions and comments from you guys, the Dime Dropper fam. It's been a little bit. Good to hear from you guys. Before I get into everything, I just wanted to talk about what I've been doing lately and in terms of my videos. So every single Sunday, me, Fabian, All Ball, and Flea, the New York guys, we go live to talk about kind of the latest in the NBA as well, but in a group, setting, as opposed to this where it's just me. So every Sunday, tap into it, suggest some topics if you want to hear us talk about it. We always want the feedback. If you think there's something that you don't like about the videos, please let me know about that as well. We're always trying to take constructive criticism over here. Shout out to people in the live and all those that are coming in. But my other video very recently, and I got to tell you guys, man, it was one of the better videos I've made in terms of actual historical content. And that was the most underrated rivalry in NBA history, the Baltimore Bullets and the New York Knicks, with two of the most knowledgeable historians I have ever come across when talking hoops. So please check that video out. Washington Bullets, New York Knicks. Everyone loves to talk about the same players in the 60s. Jerry West, Oscar, Bill Russell, Wilt. That had 10 great players, and none of them were those guys I just mentioned. So please check it out. I see a lot of people in the Twitter live, which I appreciate. 18 people on Twitter. That's a lot. Okay, I don't really like it. So what you need to do is do your boy a solid and check the tweet that you're on. 30 viewers. Oh, my goodness. You know what? We'll leave you guys on there for a little bit. But if you want to be a good friend, a good follower, you got to click the link underneath the tweet that you're watching and come into the YouTube, because that's where I make my bread. Super chats are turned on. If you want to drop $1 a dime, hop into the YouTube. Fuck that Twitter stuff. All right? But I'm going to let you be on there for a little bit before I delete the link. All right? Tap into the YouTube. It's right underneath the tweet that you're watching. But let's get right into it. Let's start with James Harden to the Clippers. Okay, so now that I'm on my own platform, I can say whatever the fuck I want. And guys, you guys know me. You think I want James Harden on the Clippers? Dude, if I wanted someone to fix my fucking drain or my toilet, I would ask James Harden to come. Not to win basketball games or championship. Actually, you know what? He can win regular season games. But if I want to win a championship, I don't want James Harden near my roster. I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. Okay? I don't need to explain why either, because we already got Paul George to worry about when it comes to the playoffs and big moments. Then we got Russell Westbrook, who has a dubious reputation to say the least. And now you want to bring in another guy notorious for underperforming in big moments. Yeah, at the expense of some depth. I just don't like it. Now, let me look at the other side of things. Take my emotion out of it. So I fucking hate James Harden. I think he's everything wrong with modern basketball. He does not move without the ball. He dribbles a fucking shit ton. He's a foul baiter. He doesn't shoot mid-range shots, even though he has kind of started to a little bit again. And he is so pick and choose defensively. I genuinely question how badly he wants to win on a consistent basis. He has quit in multiple playoff games, and I don't need to list it out for you. So I want nothing to do with him because I just don't like him. But I am supposed to be a respected analyst of basketball, or I want to be. So I need to look at it without the emotion for a second. So let's look at the actual basketball fit. If we didn't have Russell Westbrook, I think James Harden would actually be a great third option. I think he would be perfect in that role to run our offense, to run pick and rolls, and then to hit PG and Kawhi in their spots. The problem I have with it is this is what we brought Russ in to do. This is what we gave Russ the opportunity to do, and he became so grateful that he accepted such a small contract to come back to us. And I believe that Russell Westbrook wants and should be the starting point guard of this team. Is it partially because I have an insane bias towards Russ over Harden? You better believe it. But I also think Russ doesn't want to come off the bench. That's already established. So the other alternative is to run Kawhi Leonard at the 4 and then play Harden, Russ, Paul George, Kawhi all together like it's a fucking Western Conference All-Star team. So again, I'm very anti-super teams. Y'all know that. I do not want to root for a super team, but I'm going to have no choice if this happens. But we would be a super team. Anybody that wants to deny that is a fucking idiot. Okay, we would be a super team. There's no denying it. Embrace it, even though I don't want to. But I really believe in putting together stars when it's a cohesive fit. I believe in big threes. I'm not the biggest on big fours. We just saw the Suns try to do a little bit of a big four. Besides the Warriors, I need you guys in the comments to tell me what team has had 4 all-star caliber players, so 2 automatic all-stars. If we're being real, 3. Because James Harden last year got snubbed. He was averaging 20 and 10 on the 3rd seed. He absolutely should have been an all-star. And that's me taking my emotion out of it. He should have been an all-star. So, wow, okay, 17 people in the Twitter. I'm going to delete the Twitter now, guys, so hop into the YouTube, please. But okay. Thank you very much. So, James Harden was an all-star last year. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are still all-star players. Kawhi Leonard is a superstar, bona fide, and he's the only one of these 4 that I really trust come playoff time. Now, my gripe is this. I think when you put 4 stars together, when was the last time it worked out besides the Warriors, who were a very seamless fit because they have one guy in Draymond Green who does not give a shit about points, and they have 3 guys that don't need many dribbles to score, in particular 2 that move so well without the ball that it made their offense unstoppable to a degree even before Kevin Durant showed up. Now, I see one comment about Westbrook saying Westbrook isn't all-star caliber anymore. I agree that Westbrook is not an all-star anymore, but in the playoffs, if you're telling me he was not all-star caliber, then you are being delusional because he was. Now, do I think Russ is going to make an all-star team again? I do not. But Russell Westbrook still, first of all, it doesn't even matter what he truly, it does matter what he truly is, but Westbrook himself still sees himself as an all-star kind of player. That doesn't mean that he's not okay with sitting on the bench in crunch time or whatnot. That's one thing that really stood out to me about Russ, is that he was okay being pulled out of games and okay with having a lesser role if it meant the team wins. And I think he was really desperate to show that after all the narratives came out with the Lakers. But I don't believe he wants to be a backup, and I still believe that he wants to run the offense. So what everyone's going to say, Harden and Russ played in Houston. What are you talking about? Listen, I think that was good, but the difference was they were only 2 of them. So they could take turns running pick and roll. And that's all Mike D'Antoni's offenses were. With Chris Paul and James Harden, it was just who takes turns running pick and roll. When James Harden would sit, they'd have Chris Paul running the offense. When Chris Paul would sit, they would have Harden running the offense. And then they'd close the game together, and usually Chris Paul would be off the ball because Harden was the first option. But with the Rockets and Westbrook, they did the same thing, kind of taking turns doing pick and roll. But they went so far into giving them spacing that they traded away their center and were rolling with Rocco and PJ Tucker at the 5 and the 4 against the Lakers and got obliterated in the bubble. Now, part of that is that Russell Westbrook had a torn groin and did not look nearly like, was it a groin or a quad? One of the 2. He didn't look nearly like the same player that he did in the regular season, in which he scored as well as any season besides 2017, really. I mean, there was a game where he played against us in LA and Westbrook gave us the business. So I'm not saying that Russ and Harden can't work out. And I saw Joey's report about Harden is interested in playing with Russ again. I don't deny that. Okay, it was a quad. Thank you, Nick Williams and Scam. By the way, I see your comments. It's just I'm trying to keep my train of thought, so I'm not showing them all together. I need a mod. Who wants to be a mod, man? I need a mod to just like roll these out. But anyway, the thing about Russ and Harden is if they want to take turns running pick and roll, fine. but you are risking possessions not going through our two best players, and that's my problem. Russell Westbrook is not great off the ball. Yes, we saw him be more willing to do off-ball things with us last season, like setting screens, cutting to the basket, quickly attacking off the catch, and even shooting the three ball at a 36% rate, which was amazing. But am I going to sit here and say he's a great off-ball player? No, I'm not. James Harden does absolutely nothing off the ball, but he's a solid spot-up three-point shooter. Now, there are times where James Harden has the Chris Paul and the LeBron, and even sometimes Kobe used to do this, where they're so uncomfortable taking threes off the catch that they literally will get the ball open and not take the shot and then go into their move. And I'm not saying that always happens. Of course, Chris Paul, James Harden, LeBron, and Kobe shot some catch and shoot threes here and there. But there are times where they literally will pass up open threes because it's just not natural for them. James Harden is such a natural off the dribble shooter, especially from three and the step back and all that shot. I just think, the moral of the story is this. We're going to be taking the ball out of Russell Westbrook's hands massively. And I think that's going to really lower his value and then lower his confidence. And the one thing you don't want is disgruntled big personalities. And then in vice versa, I think that Harden will be more willing to buy in than, say, somewhere else. But there's nothing about James Harden that suggests to me that he's this extremely selfless guy that's going to sacrifice touches. He's going to sacrifice shots. That's the difference. Everybody keeps saying, oh, he averages 10 assists. In Brooklyn and Philly, he sacrificed scoring and shots, but he didn't sacrifice the ball. He still always has the ball in his hands. That's what you guys are not realizing. I need the ball in Kawhi's hands more than anybody. Anybody. I just think it's overkill. It's overkill. It's too many stars and not a very cohesive mix. When was the last team besides the Warriors that had 4 stars and won? 4 stars. With 2 guaranteed stars. Because the Warriors in 2022, you could say that, okay, Draymond is all-star caliber. Wiggins was absolutely all-star level. Curry is Curry. And then Clay was an all-star sometimes. But they didn't even have 2 bona fide stars on that team, if we're being real. The only consistent, clear-cut star every single night is Steph Curry. And if you want to say Andrew Wiggins, you can. But Andrew Wiggins is not Paul George. Okay, Paul George is a bona fide star. So if we're talking 2 bona fide stars and then 2 other stars caliber players, you got to go back to maybe the 2004 Pistons, but they didn't even have a superstar. They were a ragtag group of no egos. So let's go even further back. The 04, Scam Likely, you're proving my point. The 04 Lakers didn't win. It was weird. Karl Malone got injured. And plus, I think James Harden and Westbrook are still better than that Peyton and Malone. You got to go back to Easy 06. Rondo was not nearly a star when they won in 08. He was not. He was not at all. I think you really have to go back to the Lakers, legit, Showtime. Like, you really have to go that far back. And again, when you have Magic Johnson, it makes everything much easier. So that's proving my point. I'd rather have 3 stars and a good supporting cast. If it was Harden instead of Russ, I'd put my feelings aside. Then there's the other part of the deal, right? Why is this not happening? Also, for everybody that thinks that our offense is already stagnant, you want to add Harden? So don't ever fucking blame Ty Lue when Harden comes and at the end of the game, we're taking turns doing isolation and the ball's not moving. So don't say, oh, Ty Lue's not running plays. We just go iso ball. No, that's exactly what you're setting yourself up with guys that don't move without the ball. The only one of those 4 that really moves consistently is Paul George, and it's almost never spontaneous. It's always in a set. The only players in the Clippers that are really spontaneous off the ball are Terrence Mann and Nico Batum for the most part. Robert Covington as well when he plays. But the others, not as much. Also, something I didn't want to forget is that Westbrook, one thing he also did was he did such a good job on the offensive glass when teams were sagging off of him, moving off the ball. But yeah, so I'm very anti-Harden. I see what people want, though. They think that bringing in Harden gives us a safety net for when Kawhi and Paul George inevitably get hurt. I agree with you. But the thing is, these are just regular season things. And I know what you're going to say. Aren't you the guy that's been bitching about the regular season process for a year? Yeah, you're right, I am. But the reason why I'm bitching about the regular season process is because I truly believe when healthy, we have a chance to win it all. I really think that we have a chance if our stars perform. I have no doubts about our supporting cast. 0, if they are used properly. And I still haven't gone really that mad at Ty Lue in the playoffs yet because last year, how can you really get mad at him with what he was working with? But if our supporting cast is utilized properly, I think Kawhi is going to show up. But Paul George, he's the question mark more than anybody. But I want to give him a chance to prove himself. You know what I'm saying? I think that it's not that Harden, Russ, PG, and Kawhi won't get along. I think they're going to try to make it work. The problem is what happens is you have natural passiveness when you have all those stars together. And you know who's going to be really passive is Paul George. And I don't want that. I don't want that. And so as far as James Harden, he raises our floor. He absolutely raises our floor. I think because Kawhi is going to miss like 20 games at least. Paul George probably the same. Harden is an exceptional regular season player that will give us star power to make up for their losses on a given night. But in the playoffs, you're telling me that those four together sounds like a ring because it's championship or bust. And I don't think it makes us closer to the championship. I think it makes us more prone for a colossal failure than everyone's going to clown us. And you know what? If we got Harden, it's make it to the finals or bust. Nothing else satisfies me because you might be thinking you only made it to the conference finals one time. If you make it again, that's bad. You better fucking make the conference finals with those four stars. Are you kidding me? And yes, I think Westbrook is still good. I do think, and we would be having a bench still to some degree. Now that's where I should get into the next part. Terrence Mann seems to be the reason why this trade is being held up. And to Lawrence Frank, I want to say thank you because everybody knows how I feel about
Jackson on the drive, kicks it out for Man. Man, three-pointer, bang! Oh, what a man!
Everybody knows how I feel about Terrence Mann. He's my favorite player in the NBA right now. He's the only Clipper besides Amir Coffey and the Jason Preston, Moussa Diabates of the world, the only rotation player that we actually drafted, and that kind of feels shitty to say. I'm not going to lie. That feels shitty to say that he's the only player that we drafted. But it's more than the fact that we just drafted him. I obviously have my whole backstory with Terrence and then the game I just showed. Like, you can't put a price on that. And also, where's our defense going if we get rid of Terrence Mann and bring in Harden? Like, are we thinking about these things? I don't think we are. I think people are just thinking, let's get as many stars as we can and let's just hope it works. And everyone's saying, because Kawhi and Paul are going to inevitably get hurt, Harden's going to help. Here's the thing. If you think Kawhi and Paul are just going to get hurt, then blow this fucking shit up. Because if without Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs healthy, we're not winning a damn thing. And if Kawhi Leonard misses 30 to 40 games and you expect him, but if he's healthy in the playoffs, James Harden in the regular season is going to keep us afloat to get 50 wins. So let's just plug in Kawhi and hope it works. I just don't think that's a thing. When you bring Kawhi back in, you got to give him his 20 shots or else you're doing a detriment to the team. We want Kawhi shooting 20 times. So then, does that throw Harden off his rhythm? Does that throw Paul off his rhythm? The point is, if you have frequent injuries to major players, you're not going to win a ring. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't. So, and I will say this, though. 2022 Warriors were like one exception. But you know what they have? Continuity. Continuity. And that's massive. So that's all I got to say about Harden for now. It's going to be a staring contest for a while. I really don't want the Clippers to budge. We've seen Daryl Morey hold out just like he did with Ben Simmons, and he won. He got Harden, and the Sixers did get better, and the Nets really haven't reaped the benefits of that. So that's all I got to say on that. Morey's going to hold out. And listen, if I'm the Sixers, that Clipper offers fucking sucks. Why would I do that? It's terrible. By the way, Harden's such a diva for only wanting to go to the Clippers. Like, bro, fuck that. These guys are he's such a drama queen. I get it. They don't want to pay you. It's not like you still can't get good money. First of all, why would you want to pay him? Oh my God. And then there's the other possibility of the Clippers paying him in the Intuit Dome and extending this era. No, everybody knows how I feel about this era. I want the nightmare to be over. It sucks. Kawhi and Paul George are an injury waiting to happen. They're fantastic players. I like them both, especially Paul George, even though I like watching Kawhi Leonard a lot more. But it's cooked, bro. We're not going to win a chip with these guys. They can't stay fucking healthy, whether Harden's here or not. And don't say Harden's going to lessen the load. Did they get injured because they were playing too much, or did they get injured because of freak injuries and because they're injury prone? Definitely the latter. So I think this era is fucking cooked. I'm just I have to put up with it for one more year because I still want to see a healthy Paul and Kawhi with Ty in the playoffs. In the Intuit Dome, I want to start fresh stadium, fresh team. This shit is a drag on Clipper fans. The only people winning are the fucking players getting their millions. This is not good. Okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I have to put up with this and put on this fake shit that I'm into it. No, I'm not. I've never been less interested. Actually, that's a lie. After the 2020 bubble, you could not pay me to talk about the Clippers. But I mean, I'm not looking forward to this season. You want me to lie to you? I'm not. I'm looking forward to going live and getting thousands of views again. I'll be fucking honest. I care about me at this point. They don't give a fuck about us. They don't give a fuck about us. None of the players, actually, no, I don't want to say none, but I don't get the sense that some of these guys even fucking care. And that's evident from the organization too, neglecting regular season games like that. When you want to sell a championship vision, go fuck yourselves. I don't want to give you shit. Okay, oh man, if there are kids listening to this, I apologize. Okay, let's look at the comments before we move on to the other teams. Extra Ernie TV. Which Ernie is that? Is that Ernie, Clipset Ernie? David Day says, I've had Damian Lillard to the Clippers on my wish list for years. Yeah, again, I just don't think him and Russ, it's too small. Okay, are we gonna go to Dame now? People acting like because Dame was low, he should be rewarded. This is a business. Let's talk about Damian Lillard. So yeah, Dame should have asked out a couple years ago. I admire his loyalty for wanting to stick with Portland. I really do. He doesn't, it's hard to find that these days. But yeah, he waited too long. And now he's saying he only wants to go to Miami. I get it. You don't want to go to a crazy super team. You don't want to go to a team that has no chance. But it's like beggars can't be choosers, bro. You signed a contract. They can trade you to wherever they want. Like, I get it. You expect them to, I get it, because you gave them so much loyalty. You expect them to accommodate you so much. But at the end of the day, the Portland Trailblazers need to think about what's best for the Portland Trailblazers, not just what's best for Damian Lillard. And, we're going to put ourselves in a hole for a couple of years and make Scoot Henderson dig through the grave. Like, that's just not how this goes. So when you're on a contract, I like that the Blazers are playing hardball. They're like, I don't like this Tyler Hero offer, so they're going to want to wait to get more. And it's going to be a standoff. I don't see Damian Lillard as a guy that's going to refuse to play for Portland. I just don't see it. I think he'll probably end up playing. I want the Heat to get him, actually. Why? Because I don't see them as a threat to the Clippers, because we don't belong in the championship conversation until we can show we can stay healthy. But I really like the Miami Heat, and I do think they've been lacking one scorer, and I think Dame would be fantastic. Get rid of Hero, get rid of Lowry, bring Damian Lillard in there, and now you got a real chance to win the championship. I would love that. I would love that for Jimmy Butler. I would love that for Pat Riley. I would love that for Damian Lillard to finally get a chance to show as a second option or as a 1B. So I really like that. Easy06 says Harden led the league in assists. He still has the ball on a string. I'm not denying that. KB Magic says Harden shaking my head, all-time choker. Yes. DL2, what's up, DL2? Says this team don't want to chip like they say they do. Facts. By the way, super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 a dime. Every donation counts and means a lot to me. So if you appreciate the work, please help. I want to get a new ring light. My Locked On Clippers videos, if you've noticed, there's been a drop-off in lighting after the first 15 minutes. My ring light's just gone old. I'm going to need a new one. If you want to help donate, that could help me. DL2 says, trade the useless depth for another available star. Why not? Not him. CJC says, Bill Plaschke disagrees. Disagrees with what? Extra Ernie TV says, if we get him, he needs to take a minutes cut. Yeah, right. That's a super, super team. Facts. KB Magic says, keep Fat Boy Harden away from the Clippers. Bernardo Vivas coming from Brazil says Harden, PG, and Russ trying to see who chokes harder. Yeah. You're right about the 5-game sample, though, but it's the playoffs, right? I had 15 games in the regular season. I mean, I think a 5-game playoff sample means more than 15-game regular season. Easy06 says Russ would take a lesser role for Harden. I disagree with you, especially based on the rumors that we heard about. Whether they're true, I don't know. But Russ requested a trade from Houston first. I want to make that very evident to everybody. Russ requested a trade from Houston first, and some of the articles were saying he was not happy with the culture, how preferential they were towards Harden, showing up late for practice, partying the night before, and all that, and they would just let him do whatever he wanted. And he didn't like that. It was such a random trade request. I was shocked when Westbrook asked out, because besides the injury, they were not a terrible pairing. He had a great season. And they were one of the better teams in the West. I mean, besides Clippers, Nuggets, and Lakers, they were the 4th best team. Or besides those 3, they were the best team in the West. So I was shocked. Something had to have rubbed Russ the wrong way. Yes, hit the like button, please. Ja'Cory Marshall's facts. I've never seen in my life Harden come off a screen and catch and shoot. That's facts. Killakoa 3 says, yes, sir, let's get this deal done and build the West. No. Bernardo says, except 2018, Paul and Harden were so much better than 2023, Russ and Harden. Yeah. How much do I pay? For what? Oh no, I don't pay nothing for you mods. Scam likely wants to be a mod. I can rock with that. Bernardo Vivas a mod. Okay, mod me. How do I do that? I'm gonna have to look in the settings after this video. Remind me. Easy06 says you should lean into your stars if you get them. No shit. Wei Bin Lim says Harden at Clippers equals OKC reunion with Kawhi as the guy instead of KD. You're missing the point. No, it's not that simple. Bernardo Vivas says off-ball Russ isn't ideal, but Harden off-ball is not much better. Search and destroy. Again, think about how stagnant that offense is when Kawhi has the ball in the post. Harden standing behind the three. Russ standing around, but also probably Russ getting ready to get a rebound. But if Zoo's out there, that's two guys in the dunker. I mean, it's just the spacing isn't ideal. I don't know if Harden's going to the Clippers. Hepatitis See You Later says, do people really think Harden's going to be a missing piece to get a team over the top? Apparently they do. Apparently they do. I've already said he led the league in assists. I'm not giving man up for him. How does the audio sound, by the way, guys? Can you let me know? How's the audio sound? Does it sound shaky? Does it sound like it's vibrating because my table's a little unstable? Hepatitis says PG-13, Kawhi, Harden. Three guys that always break down. PG-13 and Harden already have the history of coming up short, and so does Russ. Cash did says thoughts on staggering. It's going to be obviously staggering. They're not going to throw all four on the bench at once. There's going to be like two of them in at all times, but it doesn't matter. I just don't like it. I just don't think the fit is great. Hepatitis See You Later says that safety net thing doesn't always work. Look at my Lakers. We got a guy that averaged a triple-double in hopes of holding the team down. You're right. You're absolutely right. Bernardo Vivas says regular season process has zero to do with adding another star. You'd be very wrong on that because that's the main reason we'd be adding Harden. You think we're adding Harden to help us in the playoffs? Because Harden in the playoffs is weak in the second round or like the last 8 standing is where he falters. But no, he would be for the regular season. Miles Johnson says, I agree on your reasoning, but if you're not a top 3 seed, you're not winning a title, and we're never going to be a top 3 seed with 2 and 3 health issues. Then we need to get rid of him, bro. We need to get rid of him. That's all I can tell you. If you don't believe that we can be a top 3 seed because they're too injury prone, get rid of them. Extra Ernie TV says this will be PG's year to shine bright. I don't know about all that. Native says Harden chokes, but at least he doesn't load manage. Yeah, but with the Clippers, anything's possible. They may start load managing him. Hepatitis says Harden has been wearing down lately. He misses games now in the regular season. Bernardo says sounds like choke. LOL. But to be fair, it sounds like a choke either way. You're right, I guess. Harden in LA will be at the club all day. Facts, search and destroy. I've already talked about Kobe Brown and Summer getting locked on Clippers. I don't have time for that right now. What's the news on Kawhi's knee? I don't know. I'm not his doctor. Scam says need man for defense. Who's Zubac's backup center now? It's still Mason Plumlee. I'm sorry, Kobe Brown can't be talked about today, but I like him. I remember when I thought Westbrook would keep the Lakers afloat. Yeah. They need to win this year because after next season, PG and Kawhi have opt-out options. I mean, just wishful thinking, bro. They also had a top 10 player ever, by the way. Who? Plum Dog from LA. I don't think Zubats and Plumlee stop Jokic, so not sure. Who's stopping Jokic? I'd hate to max out Harden and PG. Yeah. That's why he wants to play in LA. We know. Heat get Dame, and they will be a play-in team. No depth. What? Jimmy Buckets in the regular season doesn't turn up and breaks down. I don't know about that, Hepatitis. Bernardo says, if you want to feel valued as a fan, forget about the NBA. That's not true. That's actually not true. The Nuggets feel valued as a fan base, don't they? First of all, the Clippers used to be really good to their fans. Just want to say. Raj, oh, what's up, Raj? He says, yep, way too much overlap. Kawhi / PG should fill enough of the offensive load. Y'all need more of the team man types. Do all the other stuff. Harden does none of the role player stuff. Exactly. And here's the thing. I was wrong, Raj. You remember me talking about Russ. I didn't think it was going to work out like it did. And Russ showed a willingness. And that's one thing about Russ you can't take away from him. When he's motivated and, really is enjoying basketball, which, again, besides the Lakers, he really always has been, he does some of the intangible things. He gets offensive rebounds. He rebounds for a guard. He has those highlight blocks. He has those moments where he's just running super hard. The one thing about Russ for the most part of his career, and I do think he never takes a game off thing is exaggerated. I remember Russ over the course of his career taking plenty of games with less effort, but for the most part, Russ is known as a hard worker. James Harden is the opposite. And I mean, that is why I think Russ is a great third player. And plus, Russ brings some amazing passing to the table. Our problem was getting to the rim pressure, athleticism. Westbrook checks those boxes off. Harden doesn't anymore. Harden's a great passer, basically as good as Russ to me. But it's going to be a lot of step back threes. It's going to be a lot of jump shots. He's not elevating nearly the same way at the rim anymore. He's not getting the calls he once did. Russ is still just such a great athlete, and he still added a lot to our offense with his passing. Hepatitis says Blazers have already awarded Dame for his loyalty by paying him $60 million. Where does he got the nerve to be that stubborn? I completely agree. Search and Destroy said Embiid's not happy. Try pairing him with Dame. That'd be solid. I don't care what Embiid thinks. Wei Bin Lim says maybe Clips and the fans need a franchise first-round pick player. New arena. I would love that, bro. I would love to get behind a draft pick that we home grow like Blake again. See, like Bernardo, in those days, like I've met Blake Griffin before, bro. I could tell how badly he wanted to win for the Clippers. I also feel that with Paul George. I just think he lacks seriousness. But Blake Griffin, he kind of lacks seriousness to a degree, but it's all relative, right? Like I'm not saying he's Kobe Bryant, but he's not this ridiculous. But Chris Paul and Blake Griffin really gave a shit. They just weren't good enough to win a ring, but they really gave a shit. Devon, I'm not saying this team doesn't care. I just think there's levels to it. Devin Carter says, or is it Devon Carter? Let me know. Portland need wings. Well, they got some. Jeremy Grant, Shadon Sharp, Tybal. Nathan Cruz says, Norm, Mook, Boston. See, I don't want to trade Brandon Boston, bro, because in the Intuit Dome, we have no future. We have no future. I want Brandon Boston to be getting a chance for us. Tyler Hero and Scoot Henderson redundant. Yeah, forget the Blazers right now. Norm, Mook, Preston. DL2. I don't understand. Do you want Harden or do you not want Harden? I'm very confused. I don't want anything to do with him. Brendan Armstrong says, if we keep Man and land Harden, would you? No, I don't want him to touch this franchise. I don't want to root for him. I don't want anything to do with Plumber Jim. If I wanted to fix my toilet or my drain, I would call him. But not to win basketball championships. No. The only way it makes any type of sense to trade your star for peanuts to send him where he wants to go is if he has won you some chips or something. I feel you. Abdul Karim Musanur says, what's up, Dime? Yeah, Harden ain't it. Feel you. Will Harden being on the Clippers test your fandom? Oh, you better believe it. The thing is, I'm literally the most loyal person on the planet, so I would never leave. But trading Terrence Mann for James Harden would really make me so angry that I would actually be like I'm just going to cover the team this year. I'm not going to say we anymore, but I just can't because like at the end of the day, the fans come and go. I'm sorry, the players come and go. The fans are forever. Like someone like DL2, take it for example, a guy whose parents are Clipper fans. Like he, to me, matters more than these players because at the end of the day, he's going to be here rooting for the Clippers till he's 40, 50 years old. These players are going to come and go. It's temporary. It's all temporary. I'm fucking permanent. Okay, I stay. Elton Brand. That's why I say show some fucking pride in the fact that we've never won a championship and say you want to do it and show it consistently. Don't skip steps. Don't cheat the game like the Clippers have done. You guys cheat the fucking game. You do, the Clippers. They cheat the game. They don't understand what it takes to win. They don't fucking get it. Kawhi Leonard thinks that just because he won that way in Toronto, that everybody can just show up in the playoffs and go off like he can. That's just not how that works. Not everybody has Kawhi Leonard's capabilities, and I think he needs to understand that sometimes. But you know what? I think he's so worried about getting to the playoffs healthy that he can't even worry about anyone else. I don't even want to try to guess what goes on in Kawhi's mind. I don't know much about him, and it's been year 4. Thank you, DL2. Harden is a notorious quitter in elimination games. Thank you for the audio feedback. Players are super stubborn. They don't win shit and want to walk around demanding stuff when they already get paid millions and crap the bed. Ace Boogie says, who are your top 3 teams in the West? Not a conversation for today, my friend. But right now, let's go with Denver, the Lakers, and Phoenix. Juan Guerrero says, as a Lakers fan, I hope you guys trade for Harden. Of course you do. Are you down with giving PG an extension? Absolutely not. Throw Coffee in the trade too. I'd be happy to trade Amir Coffee just for him. He needs to get a trade to actually play. A team with basically 4 dudes, not unless they crap out some other undrafted cheap gems, but that's unsustainable and you can't always rely on that. Ballmer is afraid of going back to the Sterling era and being in the gutter. We'll never be in the Sterling era with Ballmer. Never. I can promise you that. I'm super excited for KJ Martin. He'll be a great fit. I'm very excited for him too. Having, K Mart Sr. with us. I mean, he was amazing in that 2012 playoff run against Memphis. We would not have won that series without him. And when we lost him the next year, him and Reggie Evans, we got bullied by Zebo and Mark. I fucking hate that Memphis team. The Teddies. Hate them. But Kmart was a huge reason we won. I'll never forget that one-on-one defensive stop against Rudy Gay in game 1. Bernardo Vivas says, I mean, if you just add Harden, you're not really improving continuity. You're just getting a regular season floor raiser. The postseason offense would need to change a lot either way. I agree with you, Bernardo. Skim likely says he gets to the rim, but doesn't really finish at an above average level. There you go. Talking about Russ or Harden? The Clippers need to take the regular season seriously and stop those damn load management. Ro Flo says, is Blake signed right now? I think he is to Boston. Hepatitis See You Later says PG-13 for Scoot and Simons would have been massive for the Clips if that was around the table, but too late now. Yeah. I know you've been hesitant on admitting this, but you'd rather have SGA than current PG on your roster now? Now, yes. But SGA was not really considered better than Paul George till this year. That was never even a conversation before this year. So if you're asking me if I would do the trade again, no, I wouldn't. Devon Carter says, oh, yeah, they did match Tybal. Jeremiah Gonzalez says, I want Christian Wood on the Clips. I think we're just a little jam-packed now, log-jammed. Terminator, what's up, man? Says Harden's a fat bum. DL2 says, team will get Harden if he can be got. All they want is butts and seats. Are we not going to show up this year, though, DL2, with Kawhi, Paul George, and Russ? That's still must-see television. If Russell Westbrook's in this, first of all, I don't care if it's you on the court, bro. I don't care if it's Terminator 92, DL2, Bernardo, Devon Carter, and Raj as their starting lineup. If they're wearing Clippers, I'm still going to fucking go. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be loud as shit anytime. Norman Powell was big for the Clippers versus the Suns. Could be a downgrade if you lose him for Harden plus more. I feel you. I also think Norman Powell does do some things in scoring for our team that other guys just don't do. I think his foul baiting is actually good, but I get it. Harden's a foul baiter with better other things, but I think Norm just knows he's a sixth man and he's going to stick to that. And I think I like that. DL2, and he's much more comfortable off the ball. DL2 says they want net new Clipper fans. The pool they reach into are LA natives who don't care about the Clippers or the Lakers one way or the other, but would come to some. You're absolutely right about that. But here's the thing, DL2. You don't think we're covered already with Russ, PG, and Kawhi? We need Harden to entice the casuals? I don't think we do. Cash did says Bones kind of made Preston expendable. You're right. Also, I think they need to get rid of their older guys so the younger guys can get opportunities. Bones, Brandon Boston Jr., Man, and Martin should get consistent minutes. I agree. I just don't know if there's enough room for Brandon, sadly. DL2 says if you can't get Harden with that package, you got to cut a guy and it'll probably be Preston. The team wants it for good character. Is that a real thing? Bernardo says, you know what I mean when I talk about fans in the NBA. Yeah, you're 100% right about that, Bernardo, but I've seen it when I feel evaluated as a Clipper fan before. Real Flow says, if we make the conference finals, do we re-sign Kawhi and PG? I think you can consider that. Micah, the Mavs fan, says you don't want C. Wood. Scams says I was talking about Russ. You're right about that, but dude, honestly, even if you don't finish all the time, just getting in the paint, it attracts multiple bodies, and you saw him create so many good looks for us at the end of the season. Agree, Norm has value, but not with us. He played well because it was just him and Russ. Oh, come on, DL2. He was playing great before he hurt his shoulder. Devon Carter says Paul George getting passed up by a lot of young dudes. Okay. Hepatitis says, heard that the Clippers were shopping Zubats, but the media and fans are acting like the Lakers lost Shaq. Is Kawhi Leonard going to be back? I don't know. Jeremiah says, I'd be open for a trade for Ben, but I'd be a little hesitant. Ben who? Simmons? Please don't say SGA. I'm still hurt, but I'll feel much better if we win it all this year. Torstar says, oh, Juan Mata. Good night, bro. I pray we don't get Harden, bro. We need, Juan Mata goated. You better believe it. Juan Mata, my Lord. Juan Mata. Juan Mata, my Lord. Juan Mata. Champions League winner, of course. Clippers will go all out for the midseason cup. Yeah, right. Why? I can ball, dude. Respect. No, I can't. We don't need Harden, but the front office and on front lines like us, they view more macro than us. They just want another star to toss in the pot. Okay, no, I'm not going to talk about the midseason tournament. I don't have that much time left, guys, because I have to go practice with my kids that I coach. But let me talk about the Houston Rockets. Actually, let's go with the Lakers real quick because this is a Lakers channel too. Lakers re-signed D'Angelo Russell. I think they brought him back on a solid deal. I think it was the right move. Bringing back Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura was fantastic. Absolutely needed to do that. I think Austin Reeves is going to be just phenomenal next season. I think he probably will ascend to being the third best player on the team, which he was in the playoffs. I think the biggest test for D'Angelo Russell will be in the playoffs. Getting back, if the Lakers are healthy enough, to get back to that second round conference final stage, will he take what he learned from being in the second round for the first time last year, from being in the conference finals for the first time last year, and use that experience to be better? That's what remains to be seen. The thing about the Lakers is this. They lost Lonnie Walker, who I thought was really good for them, especially in the playoffs in that game against Golden State, game 4. And then they lost Dennis Schroeder, who was their best point of attack defender against Curry in the playoffs, who I know Laker fans get annoyed with his offense, but Dennis Schroeder's point of attack defense and his full court pressure was really, really valuable in some games. And you know one thing about Dennis Schroeder this season that Laker fans have to be honest about? He really did a good job closing games this year. He really did. And I think Gabe Vincent is just as good of a player, if not better, than Dennis Schroeder. And he's a solid defender, and he's a much better catch and shoot player. He's going to work way better offensively with LeBron. But defensively, I don't know if he will have the same effect that Dennis Schroeder had. And I also think Lonnie Walker's defense was good. So I think the Lakers may have taken a step down defensively on the perimeter by losing Dennis Schroeder. I really do. But let's think, right? I think the Lakers, it really comes down to LeBron and AD. I don't think they're going to win the championship because I think LeBron's older now, and I don't think AD's a good enough scorer that's going to get any better. That's my honest opinion. However, if the key is Austin Reeves, if he continues to ascend and then D'Lo plays better, who knows? Because a lot of those games against Denver were really close. Oh, and I like that you mentioned Max Christie, hepatitis C later. He's a player. I've thought that I didn't even watch the summer league like that, but he's a player, and I think he can defend, and that's what makes me think that he should be in the second unit and replace Lonnie Walker's spot in that second unit. So I think the Lakers are going to be really good, but I'm not taking them to win the championship. No, because their top players didn't get better, and that's unless again Reeves and D'Lo just play way better. But again, you're not going to be. I don't think AD or LeBron are outplaying Jokic. If somehow Denver gets hurt or gets knocked out by someone else, then maybe they can go all the way. But that's all I got for now. Micah Clark, thank you so much. He says, what's up, Dom? You don't want James unless you're getting him for players that don't contribute. Russ fits with PG and Kawhi when healthy. Appreciate the money, man. Always. Let's talk about the Houston Rockets real quick. What an incredible turnaround in terms of like their personnel. I mean, I don't even know what to think. When I heard that they signed Fred VanVleet for $41 million a year, I understand the third year he can it's a team option, but holy shit. So for all the Clipper fans that were talking to me about Fred VanVleet, and I told you we couldn't afford him, now you see what I was talking about. Wow. I don't know what Houston was thinking. It makes them a better team, but holy shit paying that guy that much, especially when you have a bunch of young players, Amen Thompson, Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr., Jabari Smith, Tari Eason. Am I forgetting somebody? That's a lot of players. Şengün. I know not many of those are guards. The only ones I really named were Jalen Green and Kevin Porter. But I get it. So now Fred VanVleet's your starting point guard alongside Jalen Green in the backcourt. That's fun. It's going to make you better. But now he's going to come in with this entitlement that he can shoot 20 shots a night. I just don't know if I like that. I saw some of the Rockets fans I follow's reaction, and it was the one I would have if I were them. It's like, okay, that's just way too much money. Way too much money. But it's going to make Houston better. And then there's Dylan Brooks. Oh my goodness. Paying him $20 million? Listen, I know why they did it, because they have no defense on that team. And Ime Udoka, who again, that's another incredible storyline. Ime Udoka is their coach. What happened in Boston? Like, what really happened in Boston? The fact that he's going to be coaching again is ridiculous. Like, it's so much. Houston Rockets are going to be must-see TV. And now Cam Whitmore, who was the Summer League MVP. Amen Thompson's going to be coming off the bench now. Their starting lineup is going to be Şengün, Jabari Smith, Jalen Green, Freddie V, and Dylan Brooks. Now, I get it with Dylan Brooks. You want a point of attack defender. You need some toughness and grit. But I just don't think he's worth $20 million. I think Dylan Brooks is a good bench player in the NBA, not a starter. And I think it's gonna hamper some of their youth a little bit. But let me just tell you one thing. The Houston Rockets are going to be must-see television this year. I'm going to watch them a lot on League Pass. I'll definitely give you some post-game breakdowns when I get a chance on Dime Dropper. Will they make the play-in? I don't know. If they can contend for the play-in and everybody improves, I think that's going to be what the fans want to see. I'm so interested to see how Udoka gets him to buy in, because Steven Silas, God bless his soul, especially his father, who I'm a big fan of, he was not ready for it, and he was coaching a bunch of misfits. Like, that team looked so all over the place. I'd never seen a more undisciplined team on both ends than this Rockets team the last 2 years. They were such a joke. But now you're probably going to see that discipline, because I respect Udoka as a coach big time. So I'm excited to see how it goes. I think they're going to be fun. I think San Antonio is also going to be fun with Victor Wembanyama. So interested to see that. Golden State, they brought Draymond Green back. Pretty hefty contract. Let me take a look at it real quick. Draymond Green contract. I think it was what? 4 years, 100 million, 25 million a year. That's too much. But again, they made a choice. They chose Draymond over Poole. And I don't think they're going to be rewarded with that. They're not, I mean, I think, yeah, you probably have to keep Draymond over Poole, but their window's done for me. They're not getting better because Steph Curry he's not getting any better. He's still fantastic. Chris Paul, I get it. You know, he's going to make them a little better, but that's not the needle mover. Chris Paul to win a championship. I mean, and Draymond's not getting better. Klay Thompson's not getting better. Like at the end of the day, if those three, I said it in the live, if those three are starting for you, Curry, Draymond, and Klay, you're not going to win anymore. You're not, unless you add another star. If that's your big three, still, you're not going to win. It's done. Everything has an expiration date. And what's his name? Chris Paul, like the rumors that he may not even be like coming off the bench. So you want to start Chris Paul, Steph, Chris Paul, Klay, Wiggins, and Draymond at the 5? No Looney? Okay. Yeah. I just think it's weird. The Warriors are still going to be good because Curry's amazing, but they're not winning shit. Celtics lost Grant Williams. I think that's a pretty big loss. But again, they got Porzingis, so you just got to hope the talent that mixed with, now Al Horford's going to be coming off the bench. Hopefully that makes up for it. But it's a loss. It's a loss. Even though Grant Williams was being played on and off throughout the season, I still think he has a big contribution. And speaking of big losses, the Denver Nuggets losing Bruce Brown. That's massive. Congrats to Bruce Brown for getting the contract that he got. But as good as I think Christian Brown is, Peyton Watson's probably going to get a chance. That's a downgrade. That's definitely a downgrade. Bruce Brown was phenomenal in the playoffs this year. So that we knew that was going to happen with the new CBA, and that often happens when teams win rings. As far as the Sixers, I've already talked about them with the Harden stuff, but they got Pat Bev. Lost McDaniels, but Pat Bev always is a guy that helps win. I'm surprised that Pat Bev didn't stay in Chicago, but he'll help. Again, it's not a huge deal. It really comes down to what happens with Harden. Otherwise, this team is a first, second round team at best. The Knicks lost Obi Toppin. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think that's a pretty big loss to me. I thought he was a good relief off the bench for Randall, and I think that's a good pickup for the Indiana Pacers. Phoenix Suns, they lost Campaign. I think that's actually a bigger loss than people realize. I like the pace that Campaign added to the Phoenix Suns. Every time Chris Paul would go out, he would bring a different dimension to the team, able to get to the rim, hit that floater. But now they're saying Bradley Beal's going to run the point. I don't know why they're not having Booker run the point, because I think Booker's a better passer. But we'll see. That team's weird too. Very clunky and redundant in my eyes. So, but they got Eric Gordon, who I think actually is a great fit for the team. He's going to probably start. That's the funny part. They're going to start a 35-year-old Eric Gordon. But starting alongside three guys that are probably going to get so much attention, I think that EJ will be fine there, and it's a pretty good move. It's going to be annoying seeing him in a Suns jersey because I hate them. But also, Philadelphia didn't just lose McDaniels. They lost George Niang, who I thought was very solid for them last season. And here's the thing about Niang going to Cleveland. I think he can start. I really think he can start because they had a hole at that position. So now you have a starting lineup of Garland, Mitchell, Niang, who's played with Mitchell in Utah, and then you have Allen and Mobley if they don't make a move. That's an upgrade over an Okoro. Now, the thing is, Okoro's defense is so much better. Niang, whatever. But offensively, it's an upgrade. And even if you start Okoro and bring Niang off the bench, it's still an upgrade over what they had before. The Milwaukee Bucks brought back Brook Lopez. I thought that was a good move. And, man, Brook Lopez, I mean, look at the contract that he got even at this age. Let me read it again. 2 years, $48 million, $24 million for Brook Lopez at this age. I mean, that is impressive. That is absolutely impressive. So, yeah. Let me read some of the comments real quick. Roflo says, who's the starting four right now? I don't think anyone knows. No, we don't know. Ace Boogie says, I know this isn't Clipper related, but you think AD is worth an extension for the Lakers more so than Kawhi and Paul? Yeah, I do. DL2 says, for the Norm point, just meant the Suns series specifically. He still played well, but wasn't dropping 40 with Kawhi and PG out there. You're right. We don't need him to drop 40. We don't even need him to drop 30 when they're out there. Hepatitis See You Later says, Lakers looking very fleshed out, healthy roster. Scam says, I trade every player on this team for Jaden McDaniels and Ant. I feel you on that. Max Christie's going to take a step forward. Christie's defense is legit. I think you can put him on elite guards like Schroeder, but he's actually bigger. I actually agree with you on that. Easy06 says, if AD's playing at the 4, that will unlock more of his offense. I disagree. I think he settles way more when he's at the 4 and sits behind because there's a big clotting the paint. Easy06 says Lakers are not far away. We're 8 wins. Do you know how far 8 wins really is, though, bro? Like, I don't think you realize 8 wins is a lot. Hepatitis See You Later says, I'd rather have D'Lo for 18.5 than Fred for 40. Absolutely. I think D'Lo's better than Fred VanVleet, personally. Roflo says, I wanted Nas Reed too, but he also got the bag. That was obvious. Basketball Naito says, Amin Thompson's also a guard, but he's a rookie, though. Yes. Micah says, FEV's a shooting guard. Sorry, I don't buy in a positionless basketball. I already talked about Amin Thompson, Jeremiah Gonzalez. Hepatitis says, only excuse is they had to spend the money anyway because the salary floor and it's only 2 years. Hepatitis See You Later says, West has no sorry team, only potentially Portland when they trade Dame. I'd have to think about that. Easy06 says, Chris Paul in Golden State is hilarious. You're right, it is. Fuck Harden for bailing on Silas. I changed my mind, says DL2. Hepatitis See You Later says, Spurs might not win a ton, but they'll be a tough matchup. DL2 says, Spurs going to be fun to play. I agree. Why Daya Goat says, are the Celtics making the finals next year? They're definitely the front runner, as they were this year. Hepatitis See You Later says, East is weak. Bucks getting older and got exposed. They will step back. You could be right. Miami Heat, Nihang, auto-generated player. Cash Did says, what if Terms flip Harden for DeRozan? Seems like a linear move, but Terms get off Harden and get an all-star wing. 76ers, you mean? Yeah, I would like that. Micah Clark says there are 29 fan bases that hate the Suns. All Ball Fabian says, my man Dime stressed. Am I? Are the Celtics? I already answered that. Clippers getting Dame? No. AD can't space the floor anymore. I somewhat agree to that. Okay, Brooklyn. Very briefly, they signed Lonnie Walker. A really solid pickup for them. Lost Joe Harris and Patty Mills, two guys that couldn't really defend, especially in Patty Mills' case. Joe Harris was on the Nets for a while, so it was like the longest tenured net. But Lonnie Walker is definitely going to be a player that plays for them. And it seems like Lonnie Walker, I'm kind of surprised he left the Lakers because usually when guys get burn and recognition, like Lonnie Walker got his biggest NBA moment in Game 4 against the Warriors, you never see them leave LA. But I think he just thinks that, again, it's New York, right? You're leaving LA. If you're leaving LA, you got to be going to New York or Miami or something. And he's going to Brooklyn, and I think he's going to get more minutes there, and that's what I think he believes. The Grizzlies got Derrick Rose to replace Tyus Jones. I'm very excited for Derrick Rose to get one last shot as a rotation piece for a contender. And I'm not saying Memphis is a championship contender, but they're an absolute, like a team that can go deep in the playoffs. And I think it'll be interesting to see Derrick Rose get that chance. The Inkman says Lonnie Walker was so good for the Lakers. That Game 4 is an all-time performance. Why they a goat says, are the Suns frauds? Yes. And Nets are just not contenders. I know, I was just talking about them. You already mentioned Nas Reed and Jaden McDaniels. As I said, good deal. They brought him back on. Good move for the Timberwolves. The Chicago Bulls signed Nikola Vucevic to a 3-year extension. I have zero idea what they were thinking there. Vucevic is on the decline. He can't defend a soul. I like his offense, but I can't believe they gave him $20 million for 3 years. It's insane. $20 million per year for 3 years. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Chicago is just one of the worst run organizations to me. OKC, Chet Holmgren. What? Listen, this team's going to make the play-in for sure this year again. They might make the playoffs. I think they're. I'm not going to do predictions here, but they got a good chance of making the playoffs. A really good one. And I can't wait to watch Chet. That'll be fun. Clippers trade Morris, Batum, Powell, start playing young guys. That would be a trade for Harden, though, Carlton. Lakers 2 guard spots are loaded. No room. Good point. DL2 says, what consolidation move do the Clippers make if they move on from Harden in the offseason? Honestly, bro, I don't know. I'd honestly just be okay with losing somebody, maybe getting some draft capital back. As far as the New Orleans Pelicans, it's all about Zion. This whole Mariah Mills thing and all the stuff she's accusing him of, I don't really care about that. Just get on the court, Zion. Get on the court. Toronto Raptors. Thought they made some interesting moves. They lost Fred VanVleet, which is a pretty big loss. They brought in Dennis Schroeder. So, I mean, I think Dennis is a solid player. I prefer him off the bench. Is he going to be their starting point guard now? It seems like the Raptors aren't rebuilding. So, Siakam, Scotty Barnes, Jakob Poeltl, Gary Trent, OG Anunoby, Fred VanVleet, and now they're also bringing in Jalen McDaniels. I think that's a good pickup. Again, though, I think Toronto, with Siakam as your number one option, it's a first-round team. I don't know if it's a slight improvement by losing Fred VanVleet. I don't think it is, but you know, it's not much of a needle mover. They're whatever. Pacers. Now, this is a team I think could sneak into that play-in. Tyrese Halliburton, And now he's got Bruce Brown and Obi Toppin, some good role players. I think Bruce Brown's going to be starting now. You got Andrew Nembhard coming off the bench. You got Miles Turner still. They could be a play-in team. They could be. And speaking of a team that's also going to be eyeing that play-in, the Wizards, who have a very interesting squad. I don't think they'll make the play-in, but it's going to be a lot of fun. They got some draft picks. They got Denny Avdia, Johnny Davis from Wisconsin, Corey Kispert from Gonzaga. They have Coulibaly that they drafted this season. They've got Jordan Poole, who is going to have the ultimate green light. It's going to be so much fun watching him. I think he'll average like 25. Tyus Jones is a very solid player. Kuzma just got a bag, which we knew he would get, but Jesus. They lost Porzingis. It's not going to be a team that makes the play-in my opinion, but it'll be fun. Then another team, Charlotte, Brandon Miller. Got to watch him play in the Summer League a little bit. Not too impressed, in my opinion. He has the talent. He's got good length. Seems like he can score, but I wasn't too blown away. I got to see what I see in the actual season. Will they regret picking Scoot Henderson? Very likely. We'll just have to see. I don't believe in the Charlotte Hornets at all. Detroit, what a very interesting team they have. Monte Morris being added, Joe Harris being added, Isaiah Stewart re-signed. You got Osar Thompson, Sasser from this year's draft, and now Cunningham, who basically didn't even play last season. And then Wiseman. I mean, again, I don't think the Pistons will make the play-in next year, but if they can compete for a spot, that'd be interesting. I think there's a lot of teams that are just looking to compete for a play-in spot. And I think hopefully Cade Cunningham can stay healthy. Jaden Ivey as well. We can see something with Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham, Asar Thompson, Stu, Wiseman, and Duren. They have this good young core now that they've assembled. And that was what we didn't have when we were looking at the Pistons when they had Blake and Drummond. They were going nowhere. So it'll be cool to see Detroit maybe compete a little bit. Spurs, I got nothing to say with Wemby. I've already talked about the Rockets. New rule changes. You get a second challenge now if your first challenge is successful. I like that rule. And then the flopping tech, they already have that in the college game. So I like those rules. Last but not least, before I got to go, Portland, Scoot Henderson, bringing back Jeremy Grant. It's all about what happens with Dame. And then the last thing, Kyrie Irving back in Dallas. I'm very happy to see this. Very happy because are the Lakers a contender in my mind? Yes, they are. But I wouldn't pick them. As far as the last team, Dallas, I think it was great to bring Kyrie Irving back because I don't think that it's just Kyrie and Luka's fault that they weren't good. I don't think it's a seamless fit, no. But if you have just two guys that can go out and get a bucket, you got to surround them with guys that can catch and shoot off of them and defend mainly. That was the thing. When I watched them play after that trade, they couldn't defend. And they lost Reggie Bullock, who, where'd he go, by the way? Reggie Bullock. Spurs, okay. They lost Reggie Bullock, who was one of their better defenders the last couple of seasons, but this year he did not look like the same defender at all. It looked like his feet were stuck in mud when I watched him play. It was so different. But getting Grant Williams is going to be huge. A big body that can defend, improved three-point shooter. They almost got Matisse Thybulle. It didn't happen. I think it's Derek Lively that they drafted, the center that they traded from with OKC. So right now their lineup is looking like this. I still think they need an upgrade at the center position. They got Rashawn Holmes coming off the bench. I think that's a really good pickup as well. So they got Luka, Kyrie, Josh Green, Grant Williams, and then Powell. And then off the bench, you've got Hardaway Jr., who probably shouldn't be on the team anymore. But honestly, he might be good in a six-man role. I actually like that. They got Seth Curry back, right? Let me double check that. Because if they did get Seth Curry back, that's a good pickup. Yes, they did. Okay, so they got Seth Curry back. They have Seth, Tim Hardaway. So they got two guys that can score the ball off the bench in bunches. Then you surround them with Maxi Kleba, Rashawn Holmes, and then this Derek Lively. I don't know if I'm forgetting another guy in that rotation, but it's an improvement. They should make the playoffs, at least the play-in. They should make the playoffs, though, with Luka and Kyrie. Come on. But they have a little bit more that can defend now. I thought if they were going to get Thybulle, that would have been really good to get another wing. But, yeah, I think at least for Dallas, I think it's going well. It's going better. But I'm not doing predictions till, another episode. But before I go, let's read the last couple of comments. I don't think Preston can be the starting point guard, Carlton. The Inkman says, if the Clippers sign Plumber Jim, it's a bad move. Jesus. Marcus Smart is going to be the Grizzlies' new Tony Allen. Their defense is going to be nasty. I'm not going to compare him to Tony Allen, but their defense was good, and it's going to be better. Why is Morris still a Clipper? Because they haven't found a deal yet, clearly. I still think he's going to get traded, though. Easy06 says, the Lakers come down to whether you believe in Anthony Davis. I do. Not as the number one option. The Inkman 2 says, do you want Plumber Jim Dime? What do you think? Clippers fan 889 says, what's up, Dime? Been a long time. Great seeing you at Game 6 when we beat the Jazz on Man's Masterpiece. Who's this? Anyways, down to trade for Harden if it doesn't involve Man, Morris, Norm, and scraps only. I'm happy that I saw you too. I don't remember who you are, though. Bulls wasn't bad on defense last season with Vooch. You're right about that. You're right. But that's because everyone else. It's not because of Vooch. I mean, yeah, they had Patrick Williams is a great defender. Beverly and Caruso are exceptional. I would assume who's good. But I don't know. The Inkman 2 says Harden is such a choker in the playoffs. Not what the Clippers need to get him over the hump. I agree. Chicago hasn't realized they give 3 years, $60 million for Nurkic. Offense only, or for Vucevic. Offense only bigs are hard to win with. Yeah. What's up, all ball? Says Dime. Cash Did says, do you think Jeremy Grant become available by December? Seems like the logical target for the Clippers. It's a pipe dream. I don't know if he'll be available. He just re-signed. Hepatitis See You Later says, you saw a while ago that Cat said his play-in win was more special than the Nuggets title. So fucking stupid. Cat's hilarious. Not in a good way. Cat also said that when he retires, people will say he changed the game. Facts. Mr. E says, Cade, who looks way bulkier now too, and Duran is our baby Dwight Howard. Are you a Pistons fan? Harden is a playmaker. If we trade scraps for him, I'm doing it. Morey is off his rocker if he thinks we're trading the house for him. He's still ball dominant as shit, though, Clippers fan. Right? Says, man, I hope y'all. Why do you guys want us to fail so bad? Oh, having you watch you root for him would be hilarious. Please, come on, Ray. Do you care about me? Because if you do, you wouldn't want that. Stop. That line is ridiculous. Imagine he plays a role in y'all winning a chip, please. Kareem Sharif says, sup, Dime. What's up, Kareem? Mike Money says, OKC is my surprise team this year. I feel you. Jaden Hardy. I don't know if Jaden Hardy's going to get into the rotation, bro, with Seth Curry and Tim Hardaway. Raid, you're acting like he's a bum. If he gets traded for our trash, it's worth it. Micah Clark says they got Seth Curry and Exum, I think. Omax is going to be nice. Oh, yeah, okay. Exum, I don't know if they'll play much, man. Over Hardy? I am not forgetting Jaden Hardy. He can be a dark horse for sixth man. Guys, I think you're jumping the gun. What's up, Kyle? Mike Money says Ben Mathurin is my pick for most improved. Broflo says, will Ty Lue start man at the 2? I doubt it, but I want to. Clippers fan, bro. What? I never said that. I just said that I know how much Darian despises him, so it'd be comedy to watch him root for Harden. How do you feel about Plumber Jim wanting to go to the Clippers? Come on. Just watch the video from the beginning. Of course he wants to come here. That's cool. My name is Tom. I think I was under a different name when I watched your channel when you posted every other day. Tom. Interesting. Oh, shit. I remember you. You're like a little younger than me, maybe? Darian, did Sean Marion change the game? No, but he's an archetype for what we like to prioritize now. AD can be number 1 if LeBron is a great number 2. You had him this year. What happened? Prophetic People says, what nationality are you, brother? I can't tell if you're Spanish or Middle Eastern. I'm Middle Eastern, but I speak Spanish. That's it for me, guys. I got to go. Thank you so much for joining me. Please comment on the video. Let me know what you thought. Please leave your comments on everything. I'm going to timestamp all the categories so you know what, you can go to whatever you want. Sorry that you just got here, guys, but you can watch the video. Please comment your thoughts on the video for the algorithms. It really matters, especially in this summer. We're doing history content, and it's not popping off as much. And by the way, check out my highlight reels I made. Jerry Sloan, Gail Goodrich, and most importantly, the video I made on the Knicks Bullets rivalry. Every single historic video is going to be called Dime Machine now. It's going to be Dime Machine highlight reel, Dime Machine film breakdown, Dime Machine episodes. That one's an episode. Please check it out. I included footage of the players too, so it's not just us talking the whole time. Let me know. Peace out, y'all. Have a great day.